So, I'm seeing rants all over the internet about Sony forcing account linking on Helldivers months, mind you, after release. Everyone keeps saying, like, look at all these other companies that have account linking enforced. They are enforcing account linking. No one's saying anything about them. But then Sony's doing it, and everyone's complaining that why are they forcing account linking? But the biggest thing that everyone's complaining about is that they did this months after release. The game released in February. It is now May when they are pushing this. It wouldn't even be that big of a deal if Steam wasn't so much more widely accepted than Sony is. Steam is able to sell this game and has sold this game in up to 170 plus countries that Sony does not sell in. Sony doesn't even allow accounts to be made in those 170 plus countries. So everyone in those countries that bought the game on Steam, and that's going to be a good chunk of people. Like 170 isn't a small number. It's not like it was 10 or 20 countries that this is happening in. More than 170 countries would lose access to the game. And the first thing anyone in one of those countries would think is that they've just lost all the money they put into the game. The first thing anyone would think is they're no longer within the acceptable return period to give the game back to Steam either. And as far as the account linking in general goes, I'm pretty sure it's common knowledge by now that the only reason any company is going to push account linking is so that they have easier access to your data. They pretend that it's for your own good. They pretend that it's for the convenience of the game, saying it'll allow them to ban toxic players. It'll allow them to make cross-play easier. It'll better the user experience. Allow you to sync your data across platforms. Irrelevant. Because you can do that. Well, I don't know about cross-syncing data across platforms without linking accounts, but the other things you can do without having to link two different accounts together. Like, that's not mandatory. It's not something you have to do in order to do those things. It's just a convenient way of them dressing up what they're saying. All they want is your data. They just want your information. Plain and simple. Like, defending a megacorp who's only after using your personal information for an extra few pennies. All they want is more money. They don't care. They don't care about you. They don't care about all these things that you're saying that are a benefit of cross-syncing. Irrelevant, really, because their main goal is to just make more money off of you. So why defend a megacorp? Obviously, there's a lot of people pushing the whole narrative. Helldivers devs and Helldivers CEO, they knew about this. They knew this was going to happen. They knew this is what was going to go down months in advance. Yeah, no one's saying they're faultless. And even if someone is, they're kind of wrong, realistically. Because if they knew, then they are partially at fault. But the majority of the power in this situation is Sony's. It's not like Helldivers CEO knew about this and he was like, hell yeah, push it even further. Or it's not like Sony was like, oh, we want you to account link, by the way. And Helldivers dev was like, no, do it 2 months in a delay so we can really get them. So we can really catch them off guard. No, that's not what happened. Most of the power in this situation is with Sony, the big name. Anyone who defends a megacorp is kind of dumb to begin with, really. Because they don't care about you. They just want your money. They just want your data to make more money. It's always money to them. It's always an extra dollar. It's always an extra pound. It's always an extra penny. They don't do anything for your good. They do it for themselves. Realistically, it would make more sense in this situation now that we know about all of this, now that it's actually come to the forefront of everyone's minds. It would make more sense to start getting on every other company's case and saying, why we don't need it for Helldivers to play a PlayStation game. on Steam? Why should we need it for you? Why should we need to make a Rockstar account when we bought Red Dead 2 on Steam? Why should I need a Rockstar account to play GTA 5 when I bought it on Steam? Why should I need a Ubisoft account when I bought Siege on Steam? Why should I need an EA account when I bought FIFA on Steam? I don't even know if EA forces FIFA account linking. I don't play those games. They trash. Realistically, use your brain, look at the game. It's the exact same thing year after year. You're an idiot for buying FIFA, my opinion. But at the end of the day, realistically, we shouldn't be getting mad at people. We shouldn't be getting mad at each other for telling Sony that they shouldn't be doing this and we're not going to stand for it. We should be getting mad at other companies like Sony who are also doing what Sony is doing. The only reason this came into the forefront, into the limelight, is because Sony did it 2 months after the release of a game. That's why it actually caught everyone's attention. But they've been doing this for years. Everyone's been doing this for years. And we've just been accepting it for some reason. Realistically, in this situation, instead of defending Sony because everyone else does it, like making it out that Sony is doing something that is perfectly fine because other companies do it, excusing this, instead of excusing the big companies, we should be excusing each other, saying each other are right. We should be backing each other up in this situation, saying, wait, we're not happy with Sony doing this. We shouldn't be happy with any other company doing it either. We shouldn't be excusing Sony because of other companies. We should be attacking Sony and other companies. We should be attacking other companies more because we now know, now that it's at the front of our minds, that this is stupid. There's no genuine need for account linking. It's not something that needs to be. It's not something that needs to happen. Like, people defending Sony, saying, oh, Helldivers knew about it, Helldivers devs knew, Helldivers CEO knew. What's your point? Like, so what? Just because they knew doesn't mean it's not a bad situation. Doesn't mean it's something that is not to be unhappy about just because someone knew about it. Irrelevant entirely. Why are people fanboying over a megacorp that couldn't give a rat's about you? Why are people defending a company instead of standing by each other, standing by the people who are outraged and saying, you know what, this guy's right. You know what, everyone who's being mad about this is right. Why are you taking the side of the megacorp that sees you as a number? Like, logically speaking, what is the point of taking their side? Anyway, yeah. Realistically, dumb situation. If they had just asked for this out of the gate, like other companies, it would have gone under the radar. No one would have thought about it. No one would have talked about it. But realistically, it might actually be a small blessing in disguise, because now that people are outraged about Sony doing it, maybe the next big release that forces account linking, everyone will be mad again. That we can run this perfectly well on the system we bought it on. Why are you forcing us to link accounts? Because at the end of the day, they're just doing it to harvest your data, to sell it to advertisers, or to push emails at you, to push advertising at you, to use you and whatever you are in data terms to them, to sell more. At the end of the day, they don't care about the user, they care about the money they can squeeze out of the user. Mini run over, realistically. I just don't see why people are defending the megacorp against other people. Like, you should be on the same side because you're in the same situation. And if you were from one of the 170 countries that wouldn't be able to access PlayStation and wouldn't be able to access the game that most people have made their like primary game, a lot of people play Helldivers more than any other game now, according to the internet at least. A lot of people have made this their go-to game. Now imagine this is your go-to game and suddenly you're from one of the 170 countries that Sony doesn't allow accounts in. You would be pretty pissed. Anyone who isn't pissed is not from one of those 170 countries that Sony would not be allowing to play the game. Yeah, Helldivers 2 devs went out of their way and said everyone who's from those countries, you can just refund the game, even months after buying and playing. As in, you've bought our game, you've played our game. Now that Sony is doing this, you can refund. We'll allow it. So realistically, people should be kind of praising the Helldivers devs, because they're allowing refunds way after the refund grace period. Like, I've got almost 100 hours in this game, and I could refund it if I was unhappy with the account linking 2 days ago. That's my 2 cents, honestly. It just doesn't make sense to defend the Megacorp. Just use your brain, please. Have a good one.